Alright, what up, what up? Alright, tonight we're gonna be talking about the power of emotions, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give y'all a visualization with this board right here so y'all can really tap in and get the message and really understand how I'm breaking it down so it'll really make sense for understanding purposes, alright? Remember, it's knowledge plus understanding plus wisdom equals power. I'm gonna help you understand, you can gain the wisdom from that. So check it, let's get started. So, the power of emotions, alright? The power of emotions. So remember, emotions stand for energy in motion. Energy in motion. So energy stands for inner God. You know what I'm saying? Like these inner gods and goddesses, these inner cosmologies, alright? So these inner deities, so to speak, alright? So that's just what it stands for. I'm just breaking it down so you can have understanding. I mean, you can go look into it if you don't want to take my word for it. So we're going to talk about low emotions versus high emotions, alright? So check it. Low emotions. Alright? Versus high emotions. Alright, so look, check it. You need to understand that these lower emotions is where most of the BS that people be going through, this is where it come from. Most of the things that go on in society, from out of domestic violence to even if you trading and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying, you can't follow the program. But you know, a lot of people going to jail, a lot of things happen when people drink alcohol, a lot of things happen in relationships, you know what I'm saying? It all starts with emotions, alright? So we're gonna go through a couple of emotions. Low vibration. Okay, so look. Alright, so let's just say this. Emotions are tied to vibrations, right? So emotions slash vibrations. High emotions slash vibrations, right? Let's use the word vibes. So we ain't gotta say vibration. We can keep it modern, we can keep the terminology so everybody can understand. So high emotions, high vibes. You know what I'm saying? Low emotions, low vibes. You ever stepped in the room and you like, man, I don't like the way the energy is in here. I don't like the vibration, the energy just off. So I'm in a good place. I don't want to be nowhere where the energy low, so I got to get up out of there, right? So check it. A couple of low emotions would be like, let me see what we got, Let's go through two, okay. So, shame, right? Shame is actually the lowest of low emotions. It's actually tied to a vibration, right? So the emotion tied to shame, the vibration tied to shame, 20 hertz frequency, all right? So we also got anger. Let's put anger on here too. Put a line between that. Anger. Alright, now anger is at a vibe of 150. You understand what I'm saying? Now why does this matter? Why do these numbers even matter, right? You know what I'm saying? Because you need to understand, so look, check this out. Anything with a vibration of 200 of a negative 200 frequencies equals cloudiness. Cloudiness. And when we talk about cloudiness, we talk about in your mind. Cloudiness in the mind is something we talk about. People be going through the storm, they in the storm, they going through it, they can't see clearly. That's because they have a frequency of a negative 200 and they are in cloudiness. Their mind is cloudy. So we got shame and anger, right? Alright, so let's just talk about it. So high emotions. A couple high emotions would be like love, joy, peace. Love is at a frequency of 500. Alone, peace is at a frequency of 600. So that's where clarity lives, right? So let's just break down. We're gonna break down these emotions of shame and anger, okay? Because a lot of people tend to go through shame and anger. So let's just start all over, man. We're not gonna start over. Let's get this out the way. Remember, anything less than 200, negative 200 frequency or vibration, that's where cloudiness lives. So look, shame, right? Shame. Now, what I'm about to show you is how to use emotions positively, how to use emotions positively to, now check it out. What I'm finna take y'all, I need y'all to stick with me and understand what I'm saying when I write this down so you can understand that I'm basically trying to make sure whatever outcomes in life you're going through when you're in these emotions is a positive outcome. So I'm finna show you how to use emotion positively to bend reality in your favor. Now, this might sound like a lot, how to bend reality in your favor. It sounds like, okay, you about to teach me how to do magic or something like that, right? No. What I'm saying is, you got options. I'm not saying that you got a lot of options. I'm just saying you got options. You got routes that you can go. It can go this way, or it can go that way, right? So let's just say that this emotion right here is shame. Dealing with this emotion, things can end two ways, either positive or negative. You know why? Because check this out. I'm gonna put this at the bottom. Everything is duality. Duality. So if you've been on my channel, you automatically know that that's all I be teaching y'all is dualities between wordplay, you know what I'm saying? So this versus this. Finding balance between some dualities, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes you can't find the balance, so you gotta either go left or you gotta go right. Ain't no in-betweens, alright? So with shame, with this particular emotion, I'm gonna show you how to make sure that things stay positive so they don't gotta be negative, right? We're going negative symbol, that's a positive symbol, alright? So I'm gonna show you how to make sure that using this emotion. So first let me tell you how you know if you're operating out of shame, alright? So check it. So shame, humiliation, low worth, hiding, self-harm. So anytime you feel ashamed about anything, it's tied to humiliation and low worth. Alright? So what do we want to do with shame? It's only two things that you can do with this emotion. To keep it positive, to keep things positive, that is, you know what I'm saying? So, you got two ways of going about keeping it positive. You can either detach. That means whatever the case may be, if shame has been incorporated, I can just distance myself from this whole situation with detachment. Or if it's a relationship, somebody causing me shame, I can move around. If I'm drinking alcohol or smoking cigarettes or doing any kind of drug and I'm getting to the point where I got shame for the things I'm doing, that means it is time to positively detach from that, because it has brought me to a low vibration. The lowest of lowest vibration. If you get any lower than that, that's like death or something, you know what I'm saying? Collapse, that's what it means, it collapse, death. But to keep it positive, let's write that down so y'all can remember that. Collapse. This is the negative. We don't want that. Let me do this. So we don't want to go collapse. That's dead. You know what I'm saying? That's crash out right there. You know what I'm saying? we want to detach, we want to distance ourselves. And if we ain't, the only other way that we can go about this, besides detach, right? Let's say you cheated on your partner, right? And now they ready to detach, but you don't want them to detach. So it's another positive route you can take this. You can confess. Just lay it all out there. Just lay it all out there. Put it all out there. Confess to what you're doing. And maybe, just maybe, because you decide to confess, they'll decide to trust in you again. Alright, so look, so what I was saying, the camera cut out. So I'm saying, if you decide to confess, your partner might decide to trust you again, you know what I'm saying? And now, it doesn't have to be no detachment or collapse of the relationship, you know what I'm saying? So basically, see, because the thing is, alright, so like, with shame, right, let's say cheating, for example. This how you go about that, right? So, this was what's happening. You lost trust. Once you lost trust, you lost respect. When you lost that respect, you lost submission. And this for me right here. Submission. She no longer wants to submit to you, bro. Once she no longer wants to submit to you, guess what you done lost? Control. Control. Now, once you done lost control, it's time for you to detach, bro. You should have shame that you ain't got your shit in line. So it's time for you to detach. Or you can confess, keep her reassured. Reassurance, hold on. Let's get into it right quick. So, reassurance. You can give her reassurance. Or, alright, let's continue. I had a little bit of resistance right there, you know what I'm saying? So, like I was saying, if you can't give her reassurance, or if anybody in a relationship can't get a partner reassurance, that's gonna lead to their partner having insecurity, especially if you done lost the trust, respect, submission, and control. Because once you lost the trust, respect, submission, and control, now they ready to detach. So if they still sticking around and messing with you, and you can't get them reassurance, now they done settled for your lack of reassurance. Now you got them feeling all insecure. So now what they gonna do? They gonna start mirroring what you got going on, which might lead to some tit for tat. Doing what you did, you know what I'm saying? Which gonna lead them. Next thing you know, you gonna be thinking shit sweet. Now you gonna be thinking that they think shit sweet, right? So what you ready to do? You ready to crash out? Now you ready to crash out. All because they settle for you. So by the time trust, respect, submission, control, you might as well detach. Distance yourself. You know what I'm saying? See, with distance, y'all can value each other more and then get back together like that. So that's a way of going about shame, right? Detach. The only things you can do, the two positives that you can do is either detach or confess. You know what I'm saying? You confess, that's reassurance. You know what I'm saying? Like, matter of fact, if you feeling too insecure in a relationship, it might be time for you to detach as well. If your insecurity is tied to a level of shame, you know what I'm saying? Now, it's another emotion that all these same feelings can be tied to, right? So let's go here. And we talked about this one before, if you done been tapping in my channel. So, anger, right? Anger. So look, anger is at a frequency of 150. That's the vibration you at when you in anger. It ain't as low as shame, but it's still negative 200. And remember, negative 200 is what? Cloud. It's like a spectrum. The lower you get, the cloudier you get. You know what I'm saying? Shame being the storm. Anger, you can see the storm coming when you getting angry. You know what I'm saying? So, alright. So look, it's only two ways you can go about this emotion of anger as well, right? Because we want to keep it. Remember, we want to keep it positive. We try to keep everything positive. We don't want things going to a negative, right? So check it. How to use this emotion positively to bend reality in your favor. So, and let's say we still talking about trust, respect, submission, and control in a relationship, right? Once you lose the trust, then you lose respect. then you lose submission, then you lose the ability to have your partner submit to you. Now you done lost control. Once you done lost control, look, now, if it makes you angry, it's only 2 ways you can go about this. Way number 1, burn bridges, which basically is the same as detach, distance yourself, you know what I'm saying? These are the only ways of going about this stuff positively. Burn bridges, right? That's number 1. That's the first way you can go about it positively. With distancing yourself, just burn the bridge, distancing yourself, gotta go, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm getting mad, it's time for me to burn this bridge, move around. Now the only other way you can go about this besides burning bridges is creating boundaries. Boundaries. Alright. Put a circle around that so you can see it. Creating boundaries. I think y'all can see that, right? Let's zoom in on creating boundaries. Right here, creating boundaries. Alright, so either you burning bridges or creating boundaries when it comes to anger. See what I'm saying? So, and why is that? Because if you don't burn bridges or create boundaries, you want me to tell you what's going to wind up happening? And if you think I'm wrong, I want you to think about any situation you've been in. It's going to lead to this. Consequences. Every time. Consequences. We're going to look at consequences as a negative. That's the negative right there. Cause we don't know how that might go. You know what I'm saying? But we know that this is a positive way of going. Either I'm going to move around, distance myself because somebody pissing me off, they making me mad, getting me angry, or I'm going to create boundaries to let them know that they pissing me off, making me angry. Now look, if somebody decides after you done created a boundary that they still want to keep doing the same stuff to piss you off, then you just got to go the other way because now you done already created the boundary, right? You done already created the boundary, they still decide to piss you off. The only thing you can do is, I shouldn't even took it off. Burn that bridge. Burn the bridge. You know what I'm saying? But I want to make sure that y'all really understand what burn bridges mean. That distance yourself. Distance. They're pissing you off. Distance. Distance yourself. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm finna break it down to y'all why you do not want to go about these lower emotions, anything less than 200, you do not want to go about that in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? Because negativity leads to more negativity. Understand that. So let's just say that somebody piss you off, right? Somebody make you mad. Now, in your mind, you might be like, but I want to set consequences. I want to perform consequences. Just know that cloudiness, negative 200, that's tied to cloudiness and negativity. If it's tied to negativity and emotion, under 200, I'm going to tell you like this. Look, and this is every time. This is every time. I don't care what it is. Cloudiness, hold on, let's just do this. I'm going to put it right here. Potential. Potential. The word potential, alright? Cloudiness leads to potential consequences. So, anytime you had an emotion like anger or shame and you go about it in a negative way, it's gonna lead to potential consequences. Because you're not a fortune teller, you're not a mind reader. You can't see the outcome. Once you went about it in a negative way, you are no longer bending reality in your favor. You do not know what the outcome might be. But if you decide to distance yourself, burn the bridge, or set a boundary and let them know that I don't like nobody coming at me like that. Because first of all, if you set the boundary that you don't want nobody pissing you off in that way and they overstep that boundary, that's a sign of disrespect. And now, a lot of times when people disrespect you, right, now you're ready to set consequences. You're ready to set it off. But you don't have to. You can just distance yourself at this point. You don't have to perform no consequences at all. Because as soon as they disrespect you, you're like, man, let me get away from you. Distance. 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 Alright? So that's how you go about that, you know what I'm saying? This is how you, basically what I just showed y'all how to do was how to transmute emotions, alright? So how to use emotions positively to bend reality in your favor is the same as saying how to transmute emotions positively. Positively. So we can avoid drama and BS. You see what I'm saying? So distance yourself, create boundaries. That's the way. Take a screenshot, whatever you gotta do so you can remember this. You know what I'm saying? You gonna remember it, I promise you. After I'm showing it to you, it's gonna stick it's gonna stick. But it's better if you can at least look at it and be like, okay, this is this, is that. You know what I'm saying? And remember, once you lose trust, you lose respect. Then submission, then control. Once you lost control, now she is insecure. You know what I'm saying? Once she's insecure and you ain't got no control over, you might as well distance yourself, bro. Or you're gonna have to re-earn that trust. You know what I'm saying? Now once you re-earn trust, I'm gonna say it like this. Re-earning trust gonna come with a whole lot of, let me just break that down for y'all. If anybody watching this video that's been through that. So look, re-earning trust. So in order to re-earn someone's trust, it's gonna come with a lot of honesty, and reassurance. You should wanna reassure her everything to the point. I'm not saying come off like something less than what you are, but you wanna be empathetic about their emotions and how they feel about you in the current state, you know what I'm saying? And you wanna keep them from having to distance themselves or try to play some kind of tit for tat games with you. So you wanna reassure them that you apologize that you made a mistake in whatever way you made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? You use imagination on that one. So you know what you did to make that mistake. You know what you did. Some things you can't come back from, but if you're dealing with somebody that's willing to give you a second chance, the best thing you can do is re-earn their trust by being honest and giving them reassurance that you're doing better. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna say it like this. That comes, you know how you're gonna get this? It's not gonna be no overnight thing. Time. You gotta give it some time. It takes time to re-earn trust. It takes time. I don't care if we're talking about your partner. I don't care if we're talking about your job that was ready to fire you and they decide to let you back on. You want to be honest with them about, stop lying, period. Y'all be thinking that lying is getting y'all somewhere. Being transparent and being honest, when you let people know what type of time you really on, now they can find a way to have empathy with you. If they can't have empathy with you, then they're not the right person to be hanging around anyways, because they most likely operating out of what? They operating out of their ego. You know what I'm saying? And we don't do that. We don't operate out of our ego. The only thing we use our ego for is effort over here, is to apply effort to spirit guided truths, right? So that's your lesson right there. And let's see, we got something. Oh yeah, I got something else for y'all. Got something else for y'all. So check this out. Now that we talked about the power of emotions like shame and anger, I want to talk to y'all about, let me see, where is it at? I'm going to talk to y'all about peace, right? Just keeping the peace. Peace. You want to keep the peace. That's what we talk. That's why I'm talking about positivity, because you want to keep the peace. Because it's peace and power. Alright? Peace and power. Remember that. This is where peace lives at a frequency of 600. Remember, we're talking about emotions. Peace is an emotion. Being at peace is an emotion. And what are emotions? Energy and motion. So when you are of peace, you have power. So look, let's just say, same scenario, right? Somebody come at you, you set the boundary, right? Let's say you done set the boundary, and they overstepped that boundary, and now they done disrespected you, and you about to come out for the consequence. You trying to control yourself. The best thing that you can do is go to your highest frequency of peace. In peace, be still. Peace be still. Now while you in this peace be still mode, from them trying to piss you off, now that's like they say, take a breath, take a deep breath and stuff like that. That's that peace be still. You take a deep breath so you can allow understanding to kick in. Cause you don't want to be making no plays off of confusion and cloudiness, so you want to wait till you get back to that understanding. Alright? That's just, I can't get this pen. That's not right. So understanding, you want to wait till that understanding kick back in. See, understanding starts at 200. That's a 200 plus. 200 plus. Anything 200 plus is clarity. Anything 200 plus is clarity right there. You know what I'm saying? I know it's kind of, I can barely read that. Get this, I can't get that D. There we go. There we go. I know I'm just getting started, so hear me out. This is why peace is so important. Because when you peace be still, you allow your mind, which is mind over matter, remember that, on energy and motion, you know what I'm saying? Mind over matter, you allow your mind to gain understanding, which understanding is a 200 plus, that's a 200 plus emotion, you get what I'm saying, when it comes to the mind. So that's where clarity starts. Clarity starts at a 200. Because this is a spectrum up and down. It's like start somewhere and end somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Peace is at 600, understanding starts at 200. So I'm saying clarity starts at 200. But it gets real clear when you get the peace, it gets real clear. So when you're in full clarity of peace, you can have good understanding on what move you need to be making next instead of being angry and, you know what I'm saying, being impulse and reactive. First of all, we don't do reactive. I don't know if y'all seen that video, but we did one, reaction versus response. You don't want to make reactions based off of confusion and just knowledge, you know what I'm saying? You want to make a response based off of your understanding and your clarity. You see what I'm saying? So, that's that. And then hold on. We not done. This lesson ain't done. Because I need to let y'all know. I gotta let y'all know. No, we're gonna say that. We're gonna say that for the next lesson. But the next lesson where we're gonna be talking about, the next lesson I get into, this is what we're talking about. Alcohol and emotions. Alcohol and emotions. That's what we're talking about. In fact, let's see how far away we is. We're gonna talk about it here. I'm gonna break it down here. So look, anytime you're in these lower vibrational states, you should not be drinking at all. Matter of fact, this is gonna be the next video. Next video started, this is what we're talking about.